We were mocking my wife at a neighborhood party until she stood up and told me it's over forever. Hey Reddit, I'm using a throwaway account because this story is so embarrassing and I don't want my wife to find out I'm posting it since she follows my main. I'm in a bad situation and I honestly have no idea what to do. My name is Liam, I'm 24 and my wife Jacqueline is 24. We've been married for 3 years and we've known each other since university. I never imagined things would end up like this. I guess it all started with misunderstandings and my careless actions. I apologize if this is all over the place. I'm still hurt and confused. You see, Jacqueline is an introvert, while I've always been the social one. I love hosting parties, being surrounded by people, while Jacqueline enjoys quiet nights at home with a book or film. She's always been supportive of my social life, even though it's not her thing. But I pushed things too far, and now I regret everything. A bit of backstory. Jacqueline has always been a bit of a pushover. I hate using that word, but it's the only one that fits. She's always bent over backwards to make me happy, doing everything she could to make our relationship work. I guess I underestimated her because of that. I assumed she'd never leave, that she loved me too much to stand up to me. Jacqueline's the type of woman who'd get up early to bring me my favorite coffee, cancel her plans to be with me when I was down, and always prioritize me. She was kind, attentive, and eager to please. Over time, I started to take it for granted. I didn't realize how much effort she was putting into our relationship or how my behavior was impacting her. I began pulling away. Jacqueline, wanting to keep me happy, agreed when I said I wanted to be a stay-at-home husband, even though we didn't have kids. She didn't hesitate, but I began slacking off, doing less around the house, expecting Jacqueline to handle everything. After long days at work, she'd come home to a messy house and no dinner, yet she never complained. She just got to work, cooking, cleaning, doing it all. I started seeing her as weak, resenting her for always being so accommodating. I wanted someone stronger, someone who could challenge me, not someone who gave in to my every whim. I began hanging out with friends more, having fun while Jacqueline stayed home. I mocked her behind her back, making jokes about her with my friends, who encouraged it. They said I deserved better, someone who could keep up with me. The more I distanced myself, the harder Jacqueline tried to hold on. She'd surprise me with gifts, plan romantic dinners, and talk about our future, but I'd already checked out. I didn't want someone who idolized me. I wanted passion and excitement. Our relationship turned into a cycle, Jacqueline trying to please me and me pushing her away. I started flirting with other women, enjoying the attention. Jacqueline noticed, but she never said anything. She just kept trying harder to win me back, thinking her love would fix everything. As I lost respect for Jacqueline, so did our friends. It wasn't just the jokes I made about her. It was the way I dismissed her in front of others, rolling my eyes at her attempts to contribute to conversations or ignoring her completely. Our friends followed my lead, treating Jacqueline with less respect. They'd make jokes about her being whipped or too accommodating, but Jacqueline, ever the peacemaker, would laugh it off, never showing her hurt. I'd see a flicker of pain in her eyes, but she'd quickly hide it with a smile, saying she was just glad I was happy. I didn't realize how much it was affecting her, how it was tearing down her self-worth. Jacqueline's few remaining friends began distancing themselves from her, not understanding why she put up with me. They'd tell her she deserved better, that she needed to stand up for herself, but Jacqueline would always defend me. She said I was just going through a phase, and that she loved me no matter what. The more she defended me, the weaker she appeared, and the more our friends and I lost respect for her. It became a cycle I didn't know how to break. I started hanging out with people who encouraged my behavior, telling me I could do better than Jacqueline, that I should find someone more on my level. Jacqueline, on the other hand, withdrew even more. She focused heavily on her work, taking on more projects and extra hours. She became quieter, more reserved, and avoided social events. When we did go out, she stayed in the background, letting me have the spotlight. I was too caught up in my own world to notice how much this was affecting her. Looking back, I see how unfair I was to Jacqueline. She deserved better. She was a kind, loving partner, and I took her for granted. My own insecurities and need for validation drove a wedge between us, and I pushed away the one person who loved me unconditionally. There are so many moments where I disrespected Jacqueline, and since I feel like venting, I'll share a few with you. Sorry if this gets long. It started months before the neighborhood party, around the time I started pulling away from Jacqueline. I had reconnected with old university friends who had recently moved into the area. They were fun, carefree, and seemed to live the kind of life I thought I wanted. One Friday, my friend Tim invited me out for a lads' night. It was supposed to be just dinner, but it quickly turned into a night of bar hopping and dancing. Jacqueline, ever the supportive wife, encouraged me to go out and have fun. She even gave me extra money to cover any expenses, and I accepted without a second thought. That night, for the first time, I openly mocked Jacqueline in front of my friends. Fueled by drinks, I told them how Jacqueline did everything for me, how she let me be a stay-at-home husband even though we had no kids, and how she never complained. Tim and the others laughed, egging me on, and I loved the attention. The next morning, I woke up with a hangover and a sense of guilt. Jacqueline, as usual, made me breakfast after my night out. She asked how my night was, but I gave her a vague response, avoiding details. I could see concern in her eyes, but she didn't push for more. Instead, she told me she was glad I had fun and that she loved me. The guilt I felt quickly turned to irritation, and I brushed her off. Over the next few weeks, I went out more often with friends. Jacqueline, despite growing visibly tired, continued to support me. Our conversations became brief, and the tension between us grew. I could sense her disappointment, but I ignored it, convincing myself she would never leave me. One evening, Tim and some friends came over for a movie night. Jacqueline cooked dinner for us and then retreated to the bedroom to give us space. After a few glasses of wine, the conversation shifted to relationships. Tim mentioned his girlfriend, wishing she were as devoted as Jacqueline. This led to more jokes and comments about how Jacqueline was too good for me, how I had her wrapped around my finger, and how she was such a pushover. I, again emboldened by alcohol, joined in. I mocked Jacqueline's habits, her quirks, and how she would do anything for me. I even joked that I could probably tell her to jump off a cliff and she'd ask, "How high?" The laughter from my friends made me feel powerful, even though I knew it was wrong. Jacqueline must have overheard everything, but she never brought it up. The next morning, she acted as if nothing had happened, though the hurt in her eyes was unmistakable. She kissed my forehead, told me she loved me and left for work. I felt a pang of guilt, but I quickly buried it. The breaking point came a week before the neighborhood party. Jacqueline and I had been invited to a barbecue at our neighbor's house. It was a warm, sunny day, and everyone was in good spirits. As usual, Jacqueline was the perfect wife, helping with the grill, making sure everyone had food and drinks, and being her usual kind self. At some point, the conversation shifted to relationships, and we started talking about how much effort our partners put in. I began bragging about how Jacqueline did everything for me, how she catered to my every whim, and how she was the perfect wife. My friends laughed and started making jokes about how whipped Jacqueline was and how I had her under control. Jacqueline was nearby, and I saw her listening to everything. Instead of feeling proud, I felt ashamed. But my need to impress my friends was stronger than my guilt. I laughed along and made even more jokes at Jacqueline's expense. That night when we got home, Jacqueline didn't say a word. She went straight to bed, leaving me alone in the living room. I sat there for a long time, feeling both angry and regretful. I knew I had pushed her too far, but I didn't know how to fix it. I convinced myself that everything would blow over as it always had, and that Jacqueline would forgive me like she always did. I had no idea that barbecue was the final straw for Jacqueline. The neighborhood party was the beginning of the end. It was just another gathering, something our community did regularly. We live in a close-knit area, and these parties were a chance to catch up, relax, and have fun. But that night, I made a huge mistake. The party had been organized by our neighbors, and everyone was there, enjoying themselves. Jacqueline, as usual, was manning the grill, and I was with my friends. After a few drinks, the conversation turned to our wives, and naturally, Jacqueline became the topic. My friends all knew how much Jacqueline doted on me, and they found it amusing. Someone mentioned how lucky I was to have a wife who would do anything for me. Feeling tipsy, I laughed and joked about how Jacqueline never said no, how she was always willing to do whatever I asked, and how she sometimes seemed to lack a backbone. The laughter and teasing continued, with my friends making jokes about how whipped Jacqueline was. That's when I noticed the silence. I turned and saw Jacqueline standing there, pale and expressionless. She had heard everything. Jacqueline walked over to the table where we were sitting, looked directly at me, and said we needed to talk. I was surprised but followed her. The party continued, but I could feel the eyes of everyone on us. That's when Jacqueline said she was done. At first, I thought it was a joke, but Jacqueline wasn't smiling. She said she was tired of being disrespected, both by me and by others. She told me she was leaving and that I wouldn't be coming back to our home. She said my things would be on the porch, and with that, she walked out. I stood there stunned. She walked off, leaving me standing there, stunned. I could feel everyone's eyes on me, their expressions filled with pity. They might not have heard what we said, but with the look on our faces and the way Jacqueline walked away, it was obvious something bad had happened. I hurried after her, but by the time I got home, Jacqueline was already packing up my things. I begged her to stop, cried, and tried everything I knew would get to her, but it was as if she had shut down completely. She wouldn't even look at me, let alone listen to anything I said. She kept packing, determined, and eventually she finished. She tossed my things out of the house and told me to leave. At first, I refused. I pleaded with her, but then she threatened to call the police. I knew she was serious, so I had no choice but to go. As I walked out, I could feel the eyes of the neighbors on me, even my so-called friends. None of them came to help or comfort me. They just watched from a distance. I walked down the street carrying what I could, tears streaming down my face. My mind was spinning, trying to process what had just happened. I had underestimated Jacqueline for so long, never thinking she would stand up to me like this. I ended up at a nearby park, still in shock, and called my mom to come pick me up. Thankfully, she came quickly. She was disappointed to hear what had happened but took me home. I've been staying at my parents' house for a few days now, and I'm completely lost. I've tried calling Jacqueline, but she won't answer. She won't respond to my texts, and I just don't know what to do anymore. This place is way more toxic than I expected. I should have known better. Look, I know I messed up. I don't need everyone constantly reminding me of it. I came here for advice, not to be insulted. Can you lot just stop? The hate is overwhelming, and I regret even posting here. I wanted guidance, not judgment. And to answer some of your questions, no, I don't have a job right now. I literally mentioned that in my first post, so I don't get why people keep asking. And no, my relationship isn't over. I'm hoping we can work things out. Also, no, this isn't fake. I have better things to do than create a fake story just to post on Reddit. Yes, I know I need to get a job and start rebuilding my life, but it's hard to focus on that when all I can think about is Jacqueline. I miss her so much, and it hurts knowing that my actions pushed her away. I wish I could take it all back, but I can't. To everyone who has given me real advice, thank you. Your words have been a lifeline in this dark time. But for those of you just here to criticize, understand that I'm already dealing with the consequences of my actions. I don't need more negativity. I'm trying to take things one day at a time, figuring out how to make amends and show Jacqueline I can change. It won't be easy, but I'm determined to do whatever it takes. If anyone has real advice on how to navigate this. Another update, I don't even know why I bother posting here anymore. Reddit is such a toxic place. But since I have nowhere else to vent, here I am. First, I just want to say how grateful I am for my parents. Without them, I'd probably be homeless right now. They've been my rock through all of this, and I honestly don't know what I'd do without their support. Second, I've realized all my friends, including Tim, are fake. None of them have reached out to me since the incident, not a single call or text. They're horrible people, and I've blocked them all. It's clear they never really cared about me. As for my wife, we finally talked, and she's set on the divorce. I know she'll regret it and miss me, but I'm going to give her what she wants. And when she comes back, I won't take her back. So yeah, that's where I am. Still trying to figure out my next steps. It's hard to think about the future when everything feels so uncertain. I've been applying for jobs, but nothing has come through yet. It's discouraging, but I'm trying to stay hopeful. I still can't believe how fast everything fell apart. One moment, I was on top of the world, surrounded by friends, and the next, I was alone, my life in ruins. It's a lot to process, and I'm struggling to come to terms with it. Despite everything, I'm determined to move forward. I know I made mistakes, and I'm willing to work on becoming a better person, but it's hard not to feel bitter. I gave so much to my friends and my wife, and now I'm left with nothing. To those who have been supportive, thank you. Your kindness means more than you know. To those who have been harsh, I hope you never find yourself in a situation like mine. It's easy to judge from the outside, but harder when your life falls apart. For now, I'm taking things one day at a time. I'm focusing on finding a job, saving money, and eventually getting my own place. It's going to be a long road, but I'm determined to get there. I don't need anyone's pity or judgment, just the strength to keep moving forward. Hey Reddit, it's me again. I know I said that was my last update, but I just had to fill you guys in one more time. After months of toxic comments, I stopped coming here. But here's the final update. The divorce is finalized. I'm still living with my parents, and I got a job, though I hate it. It's low paying, and my mom had to help me get it, but I'm stuck with it for now. As for the divorce, it was straightforward. The house was always Jacqueline's, even before we got married, and since I was a stay-at-home husband, I got a bit of alimony, but it wasn't much. We didn't have kids, so there was no custody to deal with. I tried talking to Jacqueline, but she's really done with me. The sad part is she seems happier without me, and that stings. I know I messed up, and I'll never forgive myself. I don't want to hang around Reddit anymore. It's just too toxic, but I owed you all one last update. To everyone who sent hate, please get a life. Thanks and goodbye. Last update. So, I know I said that was the final update, but I found out something crazy. All my single friends, the ones who used to mock my ex with me, are now trying to get with her. I found out when I ran into someone from the neighborhood recently. Back when I was with Jacqueline, I didn't talk to him much because Tim didn't like him, but he filled me in on all the gossip. Apparently, my ex doesn't seem interested in any of them, which is good because they're awful people. It's funny how things turn out. The very people who drove a wedge between us are now scrambling for her attention. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but it's a lesson learned. That old acquaintance was surprisingly kind and didn't hold my past against me. He even offered to help if I ever needed anything, which was a relief. It's good to know there are still decent people out there. I'm still at that terrible job, but at least it's something. I've been saving up, hoping to move out of my parents' place soon. It's tough, but I'm determined. Jacqueline and I don't talk anymore, and I've tried reaching out a few more times, but she's done with me. Seeing her happier without me is a constant reminder of how badly I messed up. I've started therapy, which is helping me reflect on my actions and understand why I behaved the way I did. It's a long road, but I'm committed to changing. Anyway, this really is the last update. I'm trying to stay positive and focus on the future, taking it one day at a time. To those who offered constructive advice, thank you. Your support means more than you know. To those still sending hate, please move on. We all make mistakes, and I'm doing my best to learn from mine. Life's too short to hold on to so much negativity. Thank you and take care. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.